Hi, David. Welcome back.
Hi, Lily. Glad to be here.
So, this summer you interned for supervisor, county supervisor Joe Anderson. How was it?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was just a legislative intern. I did a lot of outreach. I walked the second most houses ever. Some days, you got a lot of responses, but some days, like on the weekends, on the weekdays, not many people are home. You get different types of responses. Sometimes you get people that say like, your smile makes their day, but you also get people who say, just go away. I don't want to talk to you. But yeah, overall, it was a good experience. I got to meet a lot of people. It was mainly college students, so it was just kind of good to see what they thought about college, like UCSD, SDSU, community college too. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a great experience.
So, you're going to college graduating next year and going
Yeah.
to college. And which one is your dream college that you want to go and why?
My dream is definitely Air Force. Ever since I was young, I love planes. I'm probably the only one who likes this, but every vacation, I'm just the one who likes the planes. Landing, takeoff is always my favorite part of any trip. So I've always had a fascination with planes. And when I started doing college research like a year ago, I was Googling military schools because my dad kind of really wants me to go to military school. So I was doing a little bit of research. And when I saw that there was the Air Force Academy, I was like, yeah, that's a good bridge because with 9/11 and all the different wars and how big how big like global security is these days, I realized that like military is crucial. So I thought that the Air Force Academy kind of gave me this good balance between this love for airplanes, but also this need for like military and this ability to serve your country. And
To
recently,
protect people's life.
yeah, and earlier I attended Air Force summer seminar, and like it's just basically get to life. Just it was basically a camp to get to know what life was like as a cadet. And I just remember when I first saw like the Delta like wing or like the tail wing, and I just saw the campus. I just knew I wanted to go there. It was so pretty, and you can see like the mountains with a little bit of snow. And yeah, I just thought the campus was amazing. It was just yeah, I just couldn't. I thought I was in like a dream, but I was in reality, and it was amazing.
Wow. And you're only 16. And now that you have experience at the political side of the area, and then you want to be in the military side of it too. What do you want to be if I give you this, the magic wand?
I want to be someone who can be able to install peace in the world. I mean, if you look at the world, there's people suffering, there's poverty going around, there's people who are homeless, there's people who don't have a house, there's like wars going on as we know in Israel, Hamas, and also Ukraine, Russia. I want to be someone. If you gave me the magical wand, I'd be someone who has the ability just to end this, just
And
to
all of it.
end all of it, and just to end peace, and sorry, just to create peace, create stability, just make sure that everyone can live a happy life because that's what everyone wants to be happy. And if you give me that magical wand, I just want to install peace throughout the world.
You will. And today we have the youth, we have the drug addiction, we have the alcohol or smoke addiction, right? But there's another addiction that is new that is haunting the youth. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and I think that's social media. I think social media is kind of like AI. It's already here. I don't think you shouldn't get rid of it. I think you should just embrace it and just learn how to work with it. Yeah, social media it's challenging. There's so many different apps now like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and everything has its good and bad sides. Like nothing is 100%. Nothing is perfect. Everything has its good sides, has its bad sides. But I think a lot of people don't really know how bad social media can be. I think one thing is definitely like mental illnesses, and there's also a side of like physical illness too with that. I think mentally, like depression, anxiety, and then you always see those cases about people who post stuff, they edit it a lot just to make sure that they think that they look good for other people. And I think just that, in a way, like self insecurity is what makes people depressed because they see others who have like their perfect body, have their perfect looks, and they just think to themselves, I look like this, but I wish I looked like that. And I think another thing is just cyber security and like catfishing. I think that happens a lot on like social media with like direct messaging and stuff like that, where people portray like another person just to with intent to cause harm. And I think that's a big thing that's been going on in social media. And you see a lot of like those cases. If you just Google like catfishing social media, you can definitely find so many cases. And I think like another thing is just people's physical health, because if you just see those constant notifications from like Instagram or Snapchat, people sending you some stuff, and people, it just buzzes and it rings, and you just kind of have this like sense of jubilation, like, oh, who just posted, who just sent me something, and it keeps people up at night. And it's definitely not a good thing, because people who are young, especially like us teenagers, health is key, because we're still growing, like our muscles are still growing, our brains are still growing, we're still growing taller and stuff like that. So physical health is always important. I feel like social media, we don't have to get rid of it. I think we just need to just restrict it, and I think just people just need to learn about its
How do
harms.
you do that?
I think one thing is screen time. Because I know parents have the ability to, or we and the parents have the ability to do screen time. I think just limiting it, I think that's like a good foundational basis. Like for example, just starting with like an hour max or something like that, 30 minutes, just anything like that. There's also this sense of control that I think people need to learn about, because um, if you watch like TikTok, they have like this set algorithm that makes you want to continue to watch. But I think, with screen time, they can just stop that at like an hour or something. And I feel like that's where like the parents come in, because
That is very easy to do,
yeah,
did you know?
yeah, and it's really easy to set a screen time, and that's where the parents' involvement comes in, because a lot of parents tell their kids the password to the screen time, but that's just not right. That just defeats the purpose of screen time. And I feel like also when you sleep, airplane mode, like that's what I do when I go to bed. Airplane mode, it stops all of the notifications. Also, it saves battery too, so it's like a win-win situation. I feel like if you sleep with airplane mode, you can still check your notifications the next day. I feel like there definitely going to be like those rare cases, where something happens at night, but I feel like most of the time, you can wait, like nine hours just to check Instagram or check Snapchat again. There's no harm in that, but there's always those rare cases. So I feel like screen time is definitely a good thing. I think it's just more parental involvement, because I mean, they're the ones who birthed you, they're the ones who like helped you grow. So I feel like in your growing ages, the parents definitely gonna have a lot of influence. And I feel like this is one area that the parents should have a lot of influence in.
Yeah. And then, we still have so many poverty, like homelessness, and people struggle to make ends meet. How are you gonna, if when you become a leader of a country, what will you do?
First thing, I think social media, that's a good thing about social media. It can help you raise awareness, because like on Instagram, if you post stuff about it, post stories, TikTok, you post videos about, people's conditions, if they allow it. I think that's one thing I'll definitely use. I think that's like one of the benefits that come with social media, that if I become president, that's definitely something I would use, because social media is the thing that everyone uses, to a lot of teenagers, my generation uses. So I feel like that's how you spread awareness. And I feel like, yeah, that's one of the biggest problems, homelessness. If you see it like, San Diego, LA, just all around the country, I think homelessness is like one of the biggest problems that, a lot of politicians have failed, even though many people put it as a number one priority, but like those results aren't there. I mean, homelessness is still going up in a lot of cities. So I feel like that's something that must be done. Like you have to focus on that. If
And
you
we're
put your mind
supposed to
to
be
it, you can solve it.
we're supposed to be the most powerful country in the world. But yet we have so many people that have no homes, and mental illness, and all this, and the poverty, because a lot of people, 42% of the people live paycheck by paycheck. So if you become a leader, when you become a president, what will you do?
Before I answer, I just say that when people look at like how to evaluate a country, I think people just look at like who are the famous people, who are the rich people of a country, but they don't really people also look at like GDP and stuff like that. But I feel like some people don't really notice like the poverty, and like how many people truly are paycheck to paycheck. So I feel like that's something that I think we should evaluate. Just kind of, instead of looking like who are the famous people, who are the rich people, but also look like the general
Use your social
state of,
media platform to
yeah.
to educate people.
And if I were to be president, I think definitely, not only I think global security is definitely, but I feel like sometimes you have to let that down, because it's America first. I mean, you know a lot of people were born here, like most people were born here, and you have this right to protect the people you protect, like Americans, before you think about others. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like global security is like it's a big problem, but sometimes America has to come first. And homelessness, that's just one of the cases where you have to prioritize that. And that's when America comes first.
I agree. Thank you so much, and we stay tuned because we're gonna follow your growth for the next 20 years. And thank you so much, David.
Thank you.